Hey guys, welcome to RK Keynotes. Until now, in the Hibernate playlist, we have seen the introduction part of the Hibernate. We have discussed the architecture and the differences between JDBC and Hibernate framework. And also, we have discussed the advantages of Hibernate framework. In the last video, I have shown you how to configure MySQL database with NetBeans 8.2. In today's video, I'll talk about getter-setter methods in Hibernate. Using this getter setter methods, I'm going to insert a record into my MySQL database table. So with no further delay, let's get started. If you have not subscribed yet, do hit the subscribe button to get more updates. Let's dive into the video. Now, this is my project setup, and you can see that my package name is Hibernate Get Set Demo, and we need to have a POJO class, that is the plain class, plain old Java object is the full form of POJO. And then this is the main class, Hibernate Get Set Demo.java. So here I'm going to have the objects and main code over here. And these are all my configuration files. Hibernate.cfg.xml is the configuration file which has the mapping of database, and hibernate.hbm.xml, that is the Hibernate mapping file which has the mapping of table and also the properties. Means we need to map the variables in this POJO class over here in Hibernate mapping file with the column names of table. So this is the entire thing which I'm going to perform. So the first step is to create a database and then the table with four fields which I'm going to create, and I'm going to keep the enrollment number as auto increment and primary key as well. After that, what I have to do is that first let's dive into NetBeans, and then we'll create this, and then we'll get back to this PPT again. So I have already shown you how to register MySQL database in the previous video. If you have not done yet, do please check the previous video. So right now we can see that my database got started. Fine. So now I need to create a new database. So I'm just going to do this. So the database name is, let me say, Hibernate DB, grant full access, and then say OK. Now the database got created over here. You can see that. Even here you can check Hibernate DB got created, and here you can see that. Let me rename this. I don't want this extra stuff. So just go here and rename, and then you can remove the rest of the code. You just keep your database name. Fine. Okay, Hibernate DB is my database name. Now, you need to open your database over here, like, fine. So I need to create a table. So there are two options. You can go over here. This we have discussed in the previous video, and you can add columns. Or if you want to use a SQL code, then you can go over here, execute command. Make sure that here you have the proper database name, the current database name here. Okay. So let me do this code, like create table. The table name is student table, and then I have enrollment, name, address, and city, four columns with the data types int and varchar, and then I kept it as auto increment and primary key. So let me just run this over here. You can run, and it got executed. Let's check the table. Yep, the table is there. All right. Now right click and view data. The table is empty as of now. Fine. So we are done with the table. Now I need to create a new project. Let me create it. File, new project, Java application, say next. And then the project name is going to be something like Hibernate. Let me keep the same project name which I have shown in the PPT. Hibernate Get Set Demo. Okay. Now just finish. Over here you can see that the project got created. Let me just keep all those things done. Okay. Now the first step is to create a POJO class. We have to right click here and then get the Java class. And the POJO class name is something like student POJO. Okay. Now say finish. So you got the POJO class here. You can see that, and the POJO class has got means we have four variables, four columns in the table. So similarly, we should have four variables in the POJO class. So let me keep it as uh, something like enrollment number, and then I'll just take this out and we'll keep it as student name, and over here, so this is going to be something like student address, and then here it is going to be city. All right, so let me right click and format. Okay, it is aligned properly. So now we need to generate the getter and setter method. So that's very simple. Just right click here and then go to insert code and then select getter and setter here. And then select all the variables and then that's it. Click on generate. The getter setter methods got generated for us. That's it. So we are done with the POJO class now. The next step is to create the CFG file, configuration file. So you have to right click on the source packages, go to new, you can get it here. For the first time, it will not be available here. You have to go over here, other, and then you have to select Hibernate, or else you can type over here. Right now, I'm going to select in this way, Hibernate configuration wizard. Say next, next, and now in configuration file, we need to map the database name. So our database is Hibernate DB is the database, and you can see that MySQL dialect will get added automatically because we are using MySQL database, because we have registered it. Fine. And finish. So now the configuration file is created. We have already discussed this one in the first video, that is what is the use of CFG. It will automatically generate the JDBC code for us, and we don't want to worry about the database code and all. Fine, you can see that the same thing got generated here, and if you go over here in source, and you can see the same thing. All right, so mostly we will not touch this CFG file. We will not do anything over here. Let me scroll and show you the complete file. Here you can see that Hibernate configuration. If you create HBM Hibernate mapping file, it comes like Hibernate mapping. So rest everything will be the same. Okay, now we are done with the configuration file. Now the next step is to create the Hibernate mapping file. Let's do that. And then again, you can go here, you can select this. For the first time, you have to go again to the Hibernate, and you can select this file now, Hibernate mapping wizard. Say next, next, and then now you need to map the proper class name of your project. That means the POJO class name. So for us, the POJO class name is something like student POJO. Fine. So make sure that you are selecting, you are getting the proper project name here. Hibernate get set demo. Fine. Let's say okay. Now in Hibernate mapping file, we are going to map the table. Getting it? Now that is student table. We have only one table in the database. Fine. So say finish. So now you will get this entire HBM file, and then you can see the complete code over here. As I said that here, it is mapping, right? Okay. Now let me remove this, and then I'll close the class at the end somewhere here. Now I need to just map the four variables with the four column names. That is the most important step. You can see that this is my project name, and then this is my POJO class name, and the table, it is mapped here. So let's get started with the code. It is very simple task. You don't want to enter each and every single thing. It'll get auto generated once we map everything like this. So the first thing is ID, and then let me say column equal to. So this enroll is the uh, column name of my table, right? And that is to be mapped with name equal to it is to be mapped with the variable name, that is the POJO class variable name. It will generate automatically like this for you. So it will be easy for you to just select. So let me say this is int, right? And then so before closing the ID, I need to say, because we kept it as what? Auto increment. So let me say generator and then class equal to, we'll keep it as native. So it'll just generate the numbers for me. Okay, now done. The first property is mapped. The second property, these are all the variable character, right? That is, the property name is, I need to map student name with the variable, the POJO class variable name is, okay, sorry, that is not name. Uh, Property name is going to be the student name. Okay, then the column name is going to be, yep, the column name is going to be here. This is name. Okay, then let's close this. And now the column should be closed. Oh, I missed tag here. And then let me just do this again. That's it. So this way, in this way, we need to map all the properties. The third one is property, and then the name equal to, uh, ID is done, means enrollment number is done, name is done. Now we need to map address. And let's close this tag. And inside that, I'm going to map column and then the name equal to. Now that is the column name of address, and close this. So we are about to complete this. The last one is, let me put it down a little. Okay, the last property is, okay, I'll keep it like this, and let me open another tag, property name equal to, the last one we left with a city, and then the column is going to be column name equal to the table column name, that is city. Let's close this. Done. So all these things got mapped. The four variables mapped with the four column names. Okay. Now we have to get into the main class. So this is the main class. You can see this. Fine. So now, so the first thing is we have to import the most important packages. That is, I can say import org. Org refers to organization. Org.hibernate dot. Okay, let me just say start. So it imports everything for us. Fine. Now this is my class, and then I have the main method. So in this, in the Hibernate architecture, in the very first video, we have discussed 6 objects like session factory, session, and then transaction. So we're gonna use everything over here. So let me keep it as initially session as null. Okay, and then I'll use try catch block, and then I'll say, and I'll just print this E. All right. Now inside this try block, let me just go with the session factory. first. Session factory, I'll call it as SF, equal to new org dot take hibernate dot cfg. cfg dot, let me go for configuration. I think I have made a mistake here. Hibernate. Okay, yes. Hibernate dot, it is not suggesting, so that's the problem. Yeah, cfg dot configuration. It's a method. Yep. And then dot configure, and then again a method, and then again build session factory we have to call. So again, that is a method. Okay, first we are building the session factory, and then we'll be using the session factory object in the session, inside the session. So let me say session equal to sf dot open session. So we are opening the session, and then now let me say session dot begin transaction. So it will session dot, yeah, begin transaction. So it'll make the physical connection with my database. Okay, so now my database is ready to accept the connection. So let me say ready. And then now it is very simple that we have kept the ID enrollment number as a auto increment, right? Now we have to just insert um, few, I mean, three records, which means that I mean to say that three values we need to enter, right? For example, name, address, and city. So we directly use the setter methods. So we are going to set the values for those setter methods. So whenever we run, those values which we set here will be inserted into the table automatically. Fine, without using Hibernate query language or without using SQL. We are not going to use SQL here. So that will be doing HQL, Hibernate query language statements. We are going to practice from the next video onwards. Okay, now the thing is, I need to create the object first of all for the POJO class. So that is student POJO. Let me say S equal to new student POJO. And yeah, so S dot, we're going to use a setup method. Set, what we have to set is set name. It is going to be something like RK. And then I'm going to say S dot set, I'll say address, and then I'll go for city. Address is going to be something like, I'll keep it short, GUJ, something like this. And then S dot, and then city, that is set student city. The city is going to be something like Rajkot. Okay. String cannot be converted into int. I guess just check the POJO class. Yeah. We need to keep these things as string. I made a mistake over there, I guess. Yeah, because I have copied this from the previous variable. So, okay, now it is fine. So we need to change even these statements. So what I'll do is that I'll just delete this and then I'll generate it again. Insert code, getter setters. Yeah. So care should be taken while playing with these data types. Okay, so now there is no error here. Now, after this, we have to just use the methods which are available from the session object like save, delete, update, merge, and all, right? So I'm saying that session dot save, and then save the we need to pass the class, that is class object. Okay, now done. Now we have to just say the session dot get transaction. We have to say commit get transaction means I'm going to call this commit method. So at the end, everything will get saved. Now that's it. After getting committed, I'll print something like success. And then let me flush out everything once. And I'll close the session object. So now everything is done perfect. And that's it. So before that, let me once again run my table. Right now, my table is empty. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to run my project. Right click over here on the project name and then say run. Now you can see that the message you got, that is, it is showing ready and success. Now we have to go to the table and then let me just view data again. Now we can see that it got inserted. The enrollment number is 1, name is RK, and address and city got inserted. So this is how we can insert values using setter methods using Hibernate framework. So in the next video, I'll talk about annotations where we don't want to use this HBM file, that is Hibernate mapping file. So we will see that one in the next video. If you like the video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you and thanks for watching the video.